that is third chapter of data structure, that is linked list. So this is the content of this chapter, linked list. First we will see introduction to linked list. Then implementation of linked list, that is static and dynamic representation will be there. Types of linked list, single linked list. This is a purely practical. As we have seen, last chapter is also purely practical. Same thing. Single linked list. Here we have to implement all the operations. What are that operation? All type of operation we have to implement using the singly linked list. Then doubly linked list is there. In this doubly linked list, we have to perform only two operations: create and display. For circularly singly linked list, we have to use these two operations only: create, display. And circularly doubly linked list, here singly linked list and doubly, and these two are circularly singly and circularly doubly linked list. So in these three types, we have to use only create and display operation. But first type, singly linked list, in this type we have to use each and every operation that you will come to know in the next slides. What are that operations? And last is generalized linked list. This is just only concept and representation. No practical implementation is there. So these are the practical thing which we are going to cover under this linked list. Objective of this: to study basic concepts of linked list, to study linked list as a dynamic data structure, to study different operations on linked list, to study various applications of linked list. So these are the objectives. Now first we will see introduction of this chapter, linked list. In array data structure, space cannot be increased when required as array in static data structure. We cannot increase the space in array when it is a static data structure. This drawback is removed with the help of linear data structure called linked list. So this static data structure drawback is we cannot increase the space. That drawback is removed by using this linked list. This is a linear data structure. We have seen two types of data structure, linear and non-linear. Inside under linear data structure, this is the linked list data structure. So this linked list data structure is removing the drawback of static data structure, where we cannot increase the space at runtime. Once space is decided, using that space only we have to implement the things. But if at runtime we have to increase the space, that was not possible here inside this static data structure. To remove this drawback, linked list is came into existence. The array are static in nature. Once the array is declared, its size remains the same. Linked list can be expanded or shrunk as per the requirement. So this line tells about static data structure and this line tells about dynamic data structure. So here once it is declared, we cannot increase the size, but in linked list we can expand or we can shrink the size as per the requirement of user. The memory allocated to array may be extra or insufficient. If already we have declared array, if that array size is means as per user requirement, we have entered less element into that array, then size is extra, remaining space is there, that is wasted. But at runtime, if user need more space, means that part is insufficient for the user. User want to add extra thing into that array, but because of space, user cannot add. That's why it is insufficient. Linked list is more efficient in memory management because whenever required, we can use the space. Whenever not required, we can remove that space. Array elements are stored in successive memory locations. Successive means one after one. Once we got the base address, immediately for 10 elements, if there are 10 elements, for 10 elements successively, we are going to allocate the memory. Linked list data structure uses a pointer to point the next node, which indicates that elements are logically contiguous. Means here we can show that elements are logically continuous, but actually memory location will be different for each node. We will come to know about detail about linked list, but here just think about theory. Opposite word for array and linked list. Why array is static and why linked list is a dynamic. Just think about this. Insertion and deletion operation on array are time consuming because it requires shifting of elements. In linked list, insertion and deletion are easy due to pointers. Runtime we are going to allocate memory, so insertion and deletion is possible easily, but here it will take time. If you want to do, then it will take a time in array. Array supports a random access, which means element can be accessed directly using their index. Linked list supports sequential access to access any element or node in a linked list. If you want to access any element, sequentially we have to reach to that element, particular element. But here in array, random access is possible. From using that index, we can directly access the element. Memory is allocated as soon as the array is declared. A of 10, integer A of 10 means we have declared that array. That time memory is immediately allocated at compile time. It is also known as a static memory allocation. Memory is allocated at runtime as and when a new node is added. It is also known as a dynamic memory allocation. So we are using this part in linked list and this part in array. So take introduction again. Is there any problem? You can ask me. Yes. In this first slide, check. Is there any problem? I will show you diagrammatically if there is any problem. If you are clear with your ideas, then no problem. We can move ahead. What is written in first line? Space cannot be increased when required, as array is a static data structure. Understood this part? Unmute yourself fast.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So this is the drawback of array. We cannot increase the space or we cannot reduce the space as it is the static data structure. So that drawback is removed using this linked list. Then array are static in nature. Once declared, its size remains same. So opposite to this, linked list can be expand or shrink. Memory allocated to array may be extra or insufficient, and here linked list is more efficient because we can remove the element whenever that element is not required. Whenever memory is required or we have to add new element, that time we can allocate the memory. So as per the requirement, we will allocate and deallocate memory. But here once allocated, whatever memory is available in that memory only we have to work. Then in second slide, elements are stored in successive memory location. Understood this part? Successive memory location I have shown in the previous lecture also. Array elements are stored in successive memory location. Understood? Fast. Yes, speak. Array elements are stored in successive memory locations. Means what? Can you hear me? Fast. Voice. Yes, unmute yourself. Zed.
No, ma'am. Actually, I don't know successive memory location.
Yes, Insia.
Yes, ma'am.
What is successive memory location? Fast. Now I am talking with you only, Insia. Unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
What is successive memory location? इंसिया, नो बोलना नहीं आता आपको?
Yes, ma'am. Actually,
What?
ma'am. Ma'am, it is a byte location.
I think आ रहा है ना, means you are not sure. You can say no, I don't know.
Yes, ma'am.
So many times I have shown this part, array part. How memory is allocated into array. If this is the array, A of 10, declaration part is there. What they are saying, while declaration only, memory is allocated. Integer A of 10 means how much memory it will take? Integer means 2 bytes. And how many
Yes, ma'am.
elements are there? 10. 2 bytes. 2 into 10, 20 bytes
20.
successive memory will be allocated. Successive बोला है यहाँ पे. Successive means one after one immediately. While allocation, while declaration, you will get the memory address, means initial address. For example, 1020. This is the location from where this array is going to start. This is the address. 1020 is the memory address. From this location, this array is going to start. So suppose this is your memory. Okay. I will add one more column. This will show the memory location. It will show the content. This part I have already taken. Suppose your initial location will start from 0 and end will be anything, for example, 256. This is the memory location. So from this, suppose from this 10th memory location, we will take here address 10 only. From this 10th memory location, this is the address. As we are having address, same address is given to the elements also, digital elements also. So this is the memory location from where we can start this array. Which element will start first? 0th element will start from here, from 10th, and every element will take 2 bytes of memory. So 10 plus 2, at 12th location, A of 1 is there. Successive memory location, nobody else is coming in between these two elements. This is called as a successive. For other element also, 0 to 9 element, this is a 9. Total 10 elements are there. Here each element will contain 2 bytes, so add 2 into this. So successively memory is allocated for these elements. Once we will get the base address, that is 10. From this 10th memory location, we are starting this array. So how many elements are there? 10. So 10 successive elements will be there. If anybody else is working with this and they have taken this 20, no, 2 bytes are for this. So 26 will be free for them. So 26 they will use something. They will use for their use. They will write something. 27, if only one byte is required for 26 variable, then 27 will be there. But where is array? Array is starting from this and this is the end of the array. Nobody is going to come to this 11th location, 15th location, because each element is going to take 2 bytes. So a of 0 will take 2 bytes. So 10 plus 2, 12. Till 12, memory is used by this a of 0 only. Means if 11 is there, a of 0 will be there. Like this. So nobody else is going to come in between this. That's why it is called as a successive memory location. Clear? This is second time I told this. Now don't forget. Successive memory location. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So that is written here. Array elements are stored in successive memory location. So if somebody else is coming here after this 24, we cannot increase the space of array here. This is the drawback. If you want to increase the space, that is also possible, but it will take extra time. We have to shift this array to somewhere else because somebody is using this space. So I cannot take next space here immediately. So I will check other area of this memory where I can fit all the elements. For example, 10 elements are there. I want 11 elements to store. So I will check somewhere, some other place where I can fit my elements. So that is the drawback of array. Then linked list data structure uses a pointer to point next node, which indicates the element that are logically contiguous. That we will see about linked list. Just think about difference. Insertion deletion operation on array are time consuming. Okay. Then linked list, it is possible, it is easy due to pointers. Array supports random access. Random access means easily if I want to find a of 6, if I want to find a of 6, what is the value of this element I can easily get, because directly a of 6 I can find, a of 9 I can get the value of this. Using printf you can directly write a of 9. So random access is possible in array. That is not possible in linked list. Linked list sequentially we have to go. This is memory is allocated as soon as array is declared, that I have shown here. Here I have declared this array. Immediately I will get the address of the memory. And from that address, 20 bytes memory will be allocated for this array only. So memory is allocated as soon as the array is declared at compile time. It is also known as a static memory allocation. Here in the linked list, we are going to allocate memory using pointer. That's why it is dynamic memory allocation. Now we will see basic of linked list. Linked list is a linear data structure. Remember this, linked list is a linear data structure in which elements are not stored at contiguous memory location. Here likewise array we are storing elements continuously. You can check here. First element a of 0, 10, 11 memory location has taken. For second element 12 is taken, 12, 13. For third element 14, 15, 16. So continuously we have stored these array elements, but in linked list elements are not stored at contiguous memory location. We will take any location from the memory. Linked list is a sequence of data structure which are connected together via links. So how we are going to connect that elements using link? Because like array, linked list is also contain many elements. So how we are going to connect that element using link? Every node will contain link of the next node. So using that link, we can access the elements. Linked list is a linear collection of data elements called as a nodes. So every element we have to store in linked list, that element is called as a node. So you can say that linked list is a collection of nodes. Each node contains two parts. First part is a data part and second part is a link part. First part will contain actual data. For example, in array we will store 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 20. These are the elements or values of that index. So that value we can store into this data part. Same way we can represent into linked list also, like array. But what value we are going to show to the user, that is a data part. And second part of this node will contain the link, that is the link to the next node, who is coming to the next of the first node. That address we are going to store. So first part is a data and second part is a link to its successor and predecessor. This will we will see in the next type of linked list. But for singly linked list, this predecessor is not working. Only successor is there. It is second most used data structure after array. Array we have seen. Now this is the second most used data structure in data structure. A linked list maintains data element in logical order rather than physical order. Logically, we are going to maintain the thing. So if we are going to implement linked list, this is the structure. This is the diagrammatical structure and this is the programmatical structure. While writing program, this is the structure we have to write. How many parts are there now? That many parts you will write here. So how many parts shown here? This is first is a value part, second is the address of next node. This is a one node. So that is shown in the structure like this. For this node, we have to create structure, struct node. This is the name of the structure. Then curly brackets are there. Inside this, we will write these two different parts. What is this? Value that will be stored into this integer data. This is the variable which will contain this value, and struct node star link. This is the address of next node. So I have shown this part also. This is also called as a referential structure. Referential structure means if the structure contain pointer to itself. This is the pointer. For what we have written this pointer? Pointer to the structure only. Data type is structure only, struct node. This is the name of the structure. If particular structure containing pointer to itself, that is called as a self-referential structure. So in linked list, we are going to use this part only, self-referential structure. Implementation of self-referential structure is linked list. So this is the basic structure of linked list. Understood this part? So every time there is a linked list, singly linked list, you have to write this structure. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Now we have to link the structure. That was only single node. Only one value you can show here. If you want to add more value, you will add nodes into this. And whenever you will add nodes, that suppose this is your first node. First node, next part will contain address of this. So there is a no need to store element successively. Successively means immediately. What is the address of this node? That you can store here. Same, what is the address of this node? That you can store here. So using this address, we can find our next element, where it is stored. And if this is the next part contain nulls, means this is the end of linked list. So in future, suppose you feel that yes, I want to add one more element. You will create one more node What is the address of that node? You will write here. So that is a connection. If you want to delete something, if you want to delete this third node, you will delete this third node and remove next part here. Next part, you will replace this next to null. Means you can show that only two elements are there in my linked list. Clear this?
Yes, ma'am.
Just a minute. Yes. So this is the structure of linked list, how we can show different elements or different nodes. The last node in the link contain null pointer, that is which will indicate that this is the end of the list. So using you can compare this with railway also. This is your engine. If you don't have engine, or if you don't have base address of this linked list, you cannot find the next node. Same, this is the last part of your railway, end of railway. So if you want to add more, what we can call dabba, railway dabba, that we can add, that is possible, there is a connection. Same way here we can add nodes. Organization characteristics of linked list: elements can be placed anywhere in the memory. Anywhere in the memory we can place that element. Dynamic allocation, that is size, need not be known in advance. At runtime we can add node, delete node, so size need not be known in advance. Insertion and deletion of data do not require any data movement. Each element is a collection of data and linked to its successor. Linked organization needs use of pointer and dynamic memory allocation. The only override is need of additional space for linked field of each element. So each element will contain the address of next element. That is the override of this linked list. Additional space is required to store that part. Here same is mentioned here. Each node have two fields. This is the data field and this is the pointer field for the next node. Data field contain information, actual information which we have to store into that linked list. And pointer field contain the address of next node. Linked list must always have at least one pointer pointing to the first node. Here, this is the initial node. How you will get that? You should know address of that address we will store into this head node, means this first node. We can call this node as a head node. Using that address we can find this linked list. So this is the head node. Using that head node we can find the each and every node of the linked list. So linked list must always have at least one pointer pointing to the first node, that is head of the list. This pointer is must, otherwise we have no access to linked list. Same is mentioned, I told you, that is we should know address of this, otherwise we don't know this list is present in the memory or not. If you don't know address of first node, this list is present or not, you are not aware about that. This pointer is must, otherwise we have no way to access the linked list, and this pointer is called as a head node. A special case is the list with no nodes. Hmm? This is the special case, the list with no nodes. It is called as a empty list or null list. Then that time head is equal to null. If this head is equal to null, we can say that there is nothing in the linked list. The pointer of the last node of the linked list contain the value null. So this will show that this is the last node of your linked list. Each node must contain at least one link field because we have to show the link to the next node. So each node must contain at least one link field. So likewise, array I will show first representation of linked list. So suppose I told that there is one structure. Using that structure you are going to allocate the memory. What is that structure? Struct node बाय हार्ट करना है ये structure आपको. Same structure you are going to use in each and every linked list type. So by heart करना है struct node. What that node contain, that part you are going to write here. What type of value that node is going to contain, that data type is here. I am writing here integer data. And next is how to write pointer to itself. What I have to write here? Referential data structure. For referential data structure, you will write the data type. This is the data type, user defined data type. This is the built-in data type. Directly you can write int data. Same way, user defined data type we are going to use. Struct node. This is the data type. Using this data type, we are going to create the pointer. You can use any name here. Same name we have to use in program. Here is your end of structure. Where whenever in void main I am going to create variable of this, for example a, here it will assign some address. Whenever you will create like this a variable means that node is going to create these two part, because this structure is going to contain two variables. One is data and second one is link. Whenever you will create any variable of this structure, any variable of this structure means what it contains? Data and link. So whenever you will create, it will create structure like this, blank structure. And here you will write some value for this data and it will contain address of next node. Till we are not getting next node, that till that time it will contain null. Suppose here I have created first node and address of this node is 100. Suppose. So at this 100 location, suppose this is a 100 location. At this 100 location, I will store my first node. I will write like this only. Yeah? This is my first node or node 1. Then again, I feel that no, I want to add more element into this. Again, I will create this node. Same way. This is same. Only I will create one more node. If this is a struct node B, I'm just giving example how memory is going to allocate. If whenever I will create this, that time memory is going to allocate. We will use pointer. We will see that program also. I'm just giving example. Struct node B. Whenever I will create new node, that time it will allocate memory. Any 256 is limit. Suppose this is the address. At this location, I will get second node. And there is also I will write null. So this is my second node of the same linked list. If this is the linked list, this linked list is going to contain two nodes and both are containing here null. That is not possible now. your first node next part should contain address of this node, that is 150. So this is linking now. 150. So you can check here, this is not successive memory location. Which means immediately here, if you allocate the memory, you can say that this is successive. But whenever I will get the space at that place, I will allocate the memory and that node I will link here in the next part of my first node. So after some time, I feel that I want one more node. So again, I will create it, node C. Dynamically, we are going to create, so we will create a pointer there. So here, if I got the memory location 5, so this is my new node. So that will contain null pointer at the next part. Previous node, which is my previous node, that node's next part will contain address of this new node, that is 5. So we can link this element. So now at 5 location, I have node 3. So whenever I want to access this linked list, that time I should know this address. This is the head node address, first node address. If I will get the address of first node, that is 100. This is my first node address. So I will reach there. Yes. So from here, I will get the node 1 data, that is 10. Now after reaching to first node, I want to reach to second node. So in the next part only, you will get the address of next node, successive node, which is successive node of for this 150th location node. So go to that location directly. You will jump to this location 150, and what is the output of this, or what is the value of this node 2, that will be displayed to the user. Now after reaching to node 2, I want to check the next node, successive node, that is located at this location, location 5. I will reach directly because I know the address. That's why I can reach to that node. So 5, I will get the value of this node. After reaching this node, I will come to know that yes, this is the end of list because there is a null in the next part, in the link part. So here my linked list is over. My output will be 10, 20, and 30. That's it. This is your like array, how you will show the elements. Same way we can show the elements of linked list. But here pointers are there. So different at different location we have allocated memory for these nodes. So it is easy to add nodes at any time. After some time I feel that, so if that much memory is available into your RAM, you will immediately get the node. If you want to delete any node, it is also possible. Suppose I want to delete this. In program, we have to add the logic. Diagrammatically, it is easy. But in program, we have to write everything this. Suppose I want to delete this, node B. Directly, I will press the delete key here. It is so easy. But in program, we have to write everything logically. So this part is also gone from the memory. But here in program, we have to write the next node. What is the next node of this deleted node? 5. That address we have to write here. So this node can be linked. So here, if you reach to 100, then what is the successive node? 5. You can easily find this node. If you are not written this here, it is not easy to access this node. Easy means it is very difficult. Clear? So addition and deletion in linked list is easy than array. In array, it is so difficult because it is static data structure. But dynamic data structure, anytime you can allocate the memory or anytime you can deallocate the memory. Clear? Yes? Clear or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, these are the operation. I told you that in first linked list, that is the singly linked list, we have to use, we have to apply all these operations. In other type of linked list, only we have to perform create and display. Display is not mentioned here because that is maybe next. Okay. Display is a basic operation. What we have created, that we have to display. So every in every linked list we have that two operations, but we have to implement all these operations using singly linked list. That is practically also. Practically also you have to show all these operations. So these operations of linked list, we can create linked list. We can traverse through linked list. Traverse means we can move from one node to other node. You know the address of second node, next node, that is already written in the first node. So we can move forward to the next node. Insert node, at runtime we can insert the node into linked list. Delete node, at runtime we can delete the node from linked list. So these are the primitive operations. Few more operation we can perform on linked list, that is searching a node. We have to search particular node from linked list, as we have seen searching in array, using array how to work with searching. Same way we can work here for the node value. We have to check if the node value is matching with the search key, we can show that this element is present, otherwise particular element is not present. So this is the operation. Then updating node, if you want to update the value of particular node, then we can apply this operation. Counting length, how many nodes are there in your linked list, that also we can show. Count of your nodes. Reverse the linked list. 10, 20, 30 is the initial your linked list value. In reverse linked list, 30, 20, 10. This output you have to show to the user. Sort the linked list. Anyway, you will enter the element. After that, we have to sort the element. 10, 5, 30. This is the initial value. Then you will find out the 5, 10, 30 is the sorted list. Then concatenate two linked list. So here you will create two linked list differently, and after that we have to concatenate that linked list. Then merge two sorted linked lists. So here we have to take two sorted linked lists separately, and finally we have to merge that. So these are the more operation. These are the more operations than primitive one. These are the representation of linked list, how we can represent linked list in memory, static implementation and dynamic implementation. Static representation of linked list using array. Static memory allocation is the allocation of memory during compilation time. Static means you have to think about compilation time only. A static data structure is an organization or collection of data in memory that is fixed in size, that we cannot change at runtime. This result in the maximum size needing to be known in advance. So you should know while declaring your array, you should know maximum how many elements I have to store into that. So that part you should know in advance, as memory cannot be reallocated at later point, because this is the static representation. We cannot increase or decrease memory. So additionally, you should know how many elements you are going to insert into that array. In dynamic, opposite to static, in dynamic memory allocation, the size area is flexible. We can increase or decrease that size. Dynamic data structure is an organization or collection of data in memory that is not fixed in size. In dynamic, memory is not in fixed size. It is possible to expand or contract the area as required by adding or removing element from the data structure. So this is the dynamic representation of linked list. Two ways to represent linked list. First is static representation using array, and second is dynamic representation of linked list. Here we are using pointer. Just go through this. These are the different types of linked list. We will see each type in the next lecture. First, you can see this diagram. This is the linked list, and these are main three types: singly linked list, doubly linked list, and circular linked list. These are main three types. Under circular, we have two more linked list. That is this one only, but circular. Singly circular linked list and doubly circular linked list. So these are the main three types of linked list. So linked list is classified into following three types: singly, doubly, and circularly.